Yep, I haven't been here in a little while. I really enjoyed making little shorts for you. I think I'm going to start doing that. What else did I want to talk to you guys about? I don't want to be on too long. I want to start doing lives again, I think. Um, I've gotten away from doing any kind of content on my channel recently, and I want to come back gradually. But I was thinking part of the thing that has been discouraging to me is that YouTube makes it impossible to get to a point where you can monetize your channel. I don't do enough content. I would have to be doing hours of lives. Some of you I met through our mutual friend on here, Genevieve, who is a late diagnosed autistic lady. She's really funny and she's really cool. And I just lost my train of thought. Okay, so I was going to ask you guys, you're supposed to have, wait, hold on one second, let me check. Okay, I just took a screenshot and I'm going to put it here. Hopefully I can remember this right. You have to have 500 subscribers and 3,000 public watch hours. And I don't do enough content to do that. And I haven't really been putting the effort in because I had that time where I messed up my medication. Then I was balancing out and I had all these other things going on. And I think also because of my mom. There's just been too much going on the last few months that I haven't really been able to have the time to do content. But if I was getting paid, that would be ideal. And I don't have as many hours and as much video content to have any of that. And it hasn't, I want to do content that's way better quality. I'm not putting it down, but I have like a vision in my head of how I want them to come out. And I've just been recording myself talking. So I haven't really been doing the type of content that I want to do. I just, I'm supposed to be looking for additional work opportunities. I'm looking for additional income because I've gotten burned out and I'm only working like a day a week. And I might be able to pick up a couple shifts to make some extra money so I can pay to have my poor cat fixed. And get her blood work done. She's gotten her shots and everything as a new kitten, but I want to get those other things squared away, and I want to get a microchip in her so that if we ever lose her, and she ends up, because she is determined to get out, and it might happen. So I know that people have mixed feelings about the microchip, but in this case, it's warranted. It's warranted. And I've had cats where they had microchips and they lived a very long life and it didn't affect them anyway badly. So I'm going to get the microchip for her so that it has all our contact information on it and our address and everything. So if anything ever happens and she gets out and somebody brings her to an animal shelter or to the animal rescue, animal police, that's one of the first things they do is they scan for a microchip. So right now, as it is, a cat like her, if she were to get out and they were picked up by a shelter or animal police, they might try to put out feelers, like some kind of notification to see if anybody will come and get her for like a few days to a week, and then they'll rehome them. And I don't want that to happen. And I had a cat when I was younger. Her name was Moochie. And she was a little black kitty. She was so cute, but she remembered being outside. When she was a kitten, she could just go anywhere. So it was like her mission in life once I adopted her to get outside. And she did a few times, no matter what. And she was so fast that you'd have to let her get out of the room she was in or wherever she was, because if you try to close the door fast enough to prevent it, I ended up closing the door on her, and her tail once got crooked. It's just terrible. So in order to protect her, sometimes you would have to let her out and then go catch her. Oh my God. My cats are indoor cats, so they wouldn't know how to, this one might. From what I understand, they have to be taught by their moms. They have the hunt instincts, but they have to be taught by their moms how to kill the prey. And, I live in a neighborhood. There's like a busy street and the cat's just going to get hit by a car and she's got to get a microchip. Sorry, I just woke up a little while ago. So this is totally informal, like most of mine. But I was curious. I wanted to ask you guys about, in the meantime, I had like weird feelings as I'm old school and I feel like I'm begging for money or something by putting these donation things up. But I mean, when I do work on content, I put a lot of time into them. Even the silly little shorts and the short videos with all the stickers, I kind of get carried away. Sorry. I mean, I think that 8-minute video of my cat that I did, that's really cute, of her going crazy. I spent hours making that. Hours. So people should get paid for their work. So I don't know if any of you guys know. I don't know a lot about these other websites that you can get an account with. I've heard of Patreon. I know about Patreon. I'm not ready to do additional content to be like, hey, sign up for Patreon and I'll have these extra videos of where we're doing body doubling sessions if you have ADHD or autism and you struggle with cleaning or whatever your struggle is, and we can work on it together. That's one of the things I've been wanting to do. Going on kayak rides regularly with you guys, it's been something I've been wanting to do, and I haven't been able to justify it to myself because I need to eat and I need to feed my cat. So, and I don't know how many years it's gonna take. Like, even if I did it 100% full time and I was doing like lives constantly, it'd probably take a whole nother year to be able to become monetized. So I do know about Patreon, but usually people will use it to get people to join Patreon. So you pay like a monthly fee and you get additional content, which I'm super happy to do. I can do artwork. I can do all different kinds of stuff. I can make it fun, or I can do it on psychology, philosophy, Carl Jung. I've been learning more about Carl Jung, empaths, neurodivergence, different things that have been interesting to me over the years. Whatever is something you guys would be interested in, I'd be happy to do it. I'm just not to that point yet. And I don't know if you can use Patreon just because. I mean, I think you have to have special content that people have to pay in order to use Patreon. I don't remember how it works. I'll have to reach out to Jen. What else? There's like Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. There's a couple of them. I'm bringing it up because I was curious, since I'm a little bit newer. I'm an older person than I look. I'm in my 50s now, and I don't know a whole lot about social media. This is like the only social media I'm on. Ever since 2008, I pretty much swore off social media. I never got Facebook. I don't have Instagram. I don't have anything. Nothing. I had a bad experience with social media, so I'm not doing it anymore. But that was a long time ago. And I have to be able to live my life. And this is fun for me. So I've held back and avoided doing things that other people around me do. I haven't been on Facebook, and it's funny how it's so opposite of when it was when I was younger, where I was the weirdo because I was actually talking to people online, and they're like, "You shouldn't talk to people online." They're all, like, they would think any stranger is a psycho killer, you know. And you do have to be careful. You know, there are people who are not good people. Not that that's not true, you know, but you still want to be able to be online and communicate with the world and do things that you're wanting to do. Like, you have a dream or an aspiration to do, and you shouldn't let things stop you. And I have done that for, let's say, 2008 is what, 18 would be 10. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17 years. That's almost 2 decades. So it's time. And I think, you know, if I could figure out a way that if any of you wanted to support me and I could get a little bit of money for the time I'm putting into the channel, that would encourage me a lot. It would help me buy groceries. I feel really bad because I can't really contribute to my family. Um, I'm not begging for money. I'm just telling you the truth. And a lot of you already know this because a lot of you who subscribe, since one of the main focuses of my channel is neurodivergence and mental health, I talk about a lot of other things as well. So it's not only that, but I want to say around 70-ish percent. I don't remember the exact percent, up to 70, around 70% of neurodivergent people who have autism. And it's not just high support needs autism. It's all autistic people. And high masking people pay a price. It's invisible price. So you might look like everyone else and sound like everyone else and don't know why you can't do the things as everyone else and don't know why you can't work. Like up to 70% of neurodivergent people either are unemployed or underemployed. And because of my burnout, I've been afraid to come back to work more than one day a week. And now my work day's gotten shorter because I wanted to be here for my mom since my mom had a few falls. And so she's doing good. She's doing good, so I'm happy. I want to start doing more with her. I think it'd be good for both of us. It's a little warm to be going for walks now that it's like in the heat part of summer. So yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, I figured I'd throw that seed out to tuck into your mind. If anybody knows anything about monetizing their channels through these other means, I can get a PayPal account and I can set that up because even though I haven't been able to do, especially the last 6 months, I have not been able to do content like I used to. I haven't been able to because different family emergencies and the burnout I had, and then the mess up with my medication. And it took me like a month or two to become more regulated after that. It's just been one thing after another, and I've just been really discouraged. So I haven't been gung-ho about my channel like I would have been. And when there's a way that I can make money doing things, I have a really good personality. I used to work in sales, and it's always been very important for me to be genuine and honest, which I know that you all appreciate. So at least you know with me, I'm not going to be doing anything fake or anything. I mean, everybody's channel is different, and there's so many different kinds of channels out there, and they're all great, and they're all important. So it's good to support small channels and newer content creators as best we can. And if I'm able to turn this into a part-time job where I can support myself a little bit and actually help my family and not feel like a burden, that would be awesome, because I'm very capable and I don't get it. I don't get the whole burnout cycle, and it's just gotten me down so bad. Everything after me being out of nursing school, my dad passing away, it was like one thing after another, and I've never really recovered after that. And there were two bright spots. One, when I went back to school and I was scared, and I overcompensated where I didn't sleep a lot. I was working full-time and doing school full-time, and I have previous struggles with my ADHD in college, and I knew I was struggling, and when I was younger I didn't know I was neurodivergent. So it seemed that I was very intelligent, and some things that are hard for other people were instant easy for me, but so I couldn't understand why I was struggling so much. What am I even going on about? Yep. We have to find different ways. One of the things that really has been striking home to me is, or just really bothering me since I've been learning about neurodivergence and ADHD and autism, is the high percentage of fully capable, talented, intelligent, sometimes brilliant people, workforce that is not being tapped into by employers, because they still expect you to, and they have no idea. If I would try to explain this to people at my work, they wouldn't understand, and it's not their fault. It's taken me 2 years to learn what autism is, and I'm still learning. Before that, I pretty much thought of the kid who can't speak and is like crying or screaming and wearing a helmet and banging his head on the wall. Or, I don't want to say Rain Man because I knew that was a stereotype, but, and then I've known about some people who did content on what they used to call Asperger's, and some people who were previously, excuse me, diagnosed, such as I can't remember his name, Nick, Chris. The Aspie World. He does his own. He keeps it Aspie because that's his choice. So even though it's not, just for anyone who doesn't know, it's not politically correct to say that anymore for different reasons. And if you want me to get into why, I can certainly do content on that. There is content out there on that. You can find out. It's connection. It's connection to Nazi Germany and all of that, and concentration camps. And Asperger was a German. And from what I understand, he took the autistic people. I mean, this is horrible atrocities in our history. And they didn't just persecute people for being Jewish or specific nationalities or genetic cultural backgrounds. They also targeted people with disabilities and mental health because they felt that it would be kinder for them to not live anymore, because this was their thinking. From what I understand, not to get too much into history, and I know this is super, super triggering because in my life, I've had some relative-in-laws that had, I won't get into because that was a formal life, that were concentration camp survivors. So it's no joke, right? So Asperger is a name of a person who decided, okay, this group of autistic people are low functioning. That's another thing that they're trying to get away from, the high functioning, low functioning. The community is. The doctors still use it, I believe, and I think it's kind of a tricky point because we don't have a better way to define it yet. Because there's a spectrum, right? So not only is there a spectrum, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole right now because I will do content on this, and we can do a lot of lives because I'd like to learn from all of you guys as well to increase the information we have that we can help others. But it's a spectrum, not just more or less severe or less severe, high functioning, low functioning. It's like a whole sphere of different types of traits and ways that it can create difficulties in your life. So my particular view is it can get confusing when you hear people talk about neurodivergence versus disability. And everybody who has neurodivergence, who is neurodivergent, has a right to their feeling on this. This is just my personal feeling about it, but I think it's both. And if you look at, when I did some research, I have some shorts, I have some educational shorts. So some of you who are newer to me, look for, I believe I have a folder with educational shorts on it that I did about ADHD and autism. And I was meaning to follow that up with more content, and I didn't end up getting to do that. But that will kind of define, there's at least one short where I define the cycle, and I put some graphics in there so you can learn more about that. But there's like this circle instead of a line for autism. And I think it's kind of similar to ADHD, and I can explain that as well. That's something slightly different. But you can have two people who have autism, and even if they have the same support needs, as far as like how severe the traits or symptoms are, and as far as if it impacts their life or not, their functioning, you can have two people that are both the same as far as like how much it impacts their life, but have totally different qualities from each other, and both are artistic and completely different people. So one might have trouble with social cues and eye contact and have different sensory sensitivity. Maybe they have ARFID and they get nauseous with certain foods, and because their sensory is so severe, they're like certain food triggers nausea, of course they can't always eat the same foods. They'll have like certain safe foods. So if you always wonder why that is, when you hear people in this community talk about the foods and how some of them are very fussy with the foods, this is why. So when you have sensory sensitivity, basically the information from your senses, your neurological connections in your brain are actually physically and functionally different. And so that's, if you think about what sensory processing is your brain is like the command center. Your brain's like the computer, right? And then all of the wires, all of the electrical impulses go there from different sensory things in your body. So you have sensory things in your skin that sense temperature and pressure. So you have sensitivities to touch. You have smells. You have sight. Sometimes it's like the bright lights or the dim lights. Oh, my phone is about to die. Let me get my charger. Don't die. Hold on.